Hello, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the third installment in our monthly webinar series focused on individual and collective well-being, presented in collaboration with Kaiser Permanente and Alliance for a Healthier Generation. We will be recording today's session and broadcasting live on Facebook. You can check on our website in the next couple of weeks for the recording there, and it will also be available on the CDE Facebook page. Please use the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom tray to ask any questions. We will have time set aside at the end of the presentation to respond to as many questions as we can. As we continue this monthly webinar series, we know you all do and carry so much. We are so incredibly thankful to you for caring about our youth. And we hope this series will provide you with strategies to implement in your day so that you don't feel like you have just one more thing to do. Also, we hope this is a space where you can reflect and make connections with others. And with that, I would like to pass it off to our colleague, Yasmin.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our third session of our webinar series. I'm so excited to be sharing space and time with you. If you've been with us before, you know that we're really focusing on relationships for our series together, and we've talked about transformative relationships, and we're going to be continuing that, right? We have engaged in practices to build mindfulness around ourselves, extend empathetic acceptance to others, and today we're going to talk a little bit about stress, right? I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little stressed these days. So we're going to talk about stress. We're going to talk about self-regulation. And I'm so excited that we are joined together. We're here together with our Kaiser Permanente Educational Theater partners. And they're going to be actually engaging with most of the content today. And I'll be coming in and out. You'll see me. And I'm really excited that we're going to get a whole really outline of what self-regulation means, and please do engage with us throughout the chat and make sure that you are also taking care of your needs. And I'm really excited to pass it off to you, our wonderful partners, to get us started.
Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this content. So hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Taja, and my pronouns are she, her, hers.
Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday and happy afternoon. My name is Ruffy. My pronouns are he, him, his. We also have Joseph here with us today. He's going to be helping us out on the technical side of things. So if you have any questions regarding any technical issues, feel free to reach out to Joseph.
That's right. So we are all from Kaiser Permanente Educational Theater, and for over 35 years, our mission has been to inspire children, teens, and adults to make more informed decisions about their health and to build stronger, healthier communities. So today we're going to be talking about stress awareness and regulation. And our objectives today are to just explore the different kinds of stress and then become more aware of when and where we experience stress and how that stress feels in our bodies. And then we'll learn about regulation, different ways we can manage our stress, and finally we'll share a bunch of regulation tools with you all to add into your tool belt. And one final note before we really dive in, we will be doing some drawing today. It's going to be fun, a little artistic. So make sure you have something to draw on and with. If you have like markers around you, grab those markers, but just something to draw on and with. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. So I'm curious to know, to start, what does stress mean to you? So stress is a word that we throw around a lot, but what is your own definition of stress? Or what comes up for you when you think about stress? Or how might you define it? What does stress mean to you? So you have the chat available to you. We'll be looking in that chat for responses. We'll be engaging together throughout this workshop with the chat box. So this is our first prompt. Let me see in the chat. Great. Okay, I see tension, headaches, stomach pain, overwhelm, high anxiety levels, exhaustion, fear, too much to do and not enough time to do it, sleeplessness, migraines, crying, panic, so much chaos, anxiety. Beautiful. Thank you for these responses. I love how many responses we're getting, and I love a large array that you're all highlighting around the different ways that you experience stress. Thanks for these responses. So now let's get some common language together around stress.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. So stress is a mental and physical response to anything that is perceived as a threat or a challenge. Now, this is a natural part of life, and we're constantly being put through pressures. Now, when you become stressed, your body begins to pump out hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to give you extra energy and focus to deal with whatever challenge it is that you're facing. Now, stress is a completely normal response, and we all have it. But if it goes unchecked, it has the capacity to become health damaging. But the good news is that there are so many regulation tools and techniques we can use to calm our nervous systems down. And stress doesn't have to rule our lives. There's a lot we can do to manage and regulate it.
That's right. So let's start by talking about the different kinds of stress, because yes, there's more than one. So positive stress or eustress is the type of stress you feel when you get excited. So your heart rate might increase, you may sweat a little, feel more focused. So this can happen with like public speaking or on a first date or while playing sports, etc. Not all stress is our enemy. Sometimes we do want our bodies to be able to activate in that way. So when in your life have you experienced positive stress? Let me see it in the chat. When in your life do you experience positive stress? At a swimming meet? Totally. While teaching? A wedding, whitewater rafting. Oh boy, yeah. Speaking at a public event, softball, church, sports, dance performances, putting on events, keynote speaking. I'm seeing some similarities here with some of these responses. Video game tournament, fun. Traveling abroad, absolutely. Got to stay focused. Childbirth, woo. Woo, yep, yep. Road trips, traveling, new place, city, or country. Awesome. Thank you all for these responses. You are all being so great. So let's go ahead and now explore a bit of eustress together by playing a game. So a lot of you were highlighting in the chat, like playing sports or playing games or being in a tournament or that sort of thing. So let's tap into a little bit of that and play a game together. So this is a game of speed, okay? Speed game. So everyone get ready. You have to be the first one to type into the chat. So in a moment, we're going to start playing a song. And if you know the title of that song, you need to type your answer into the chat as quickly as you can, because the first person to type the correct title in the chat wins that round. And I know there are going to be some fast typers in this room, so really get ready. Okay, here we go. Let's listen to the first song. Who's gonna get it? Closer. Monica, Seasons of Love. Yes, you got it. I saw some of you were getting Rent. That is the musical that it's from. But Monica, you got that first round. Seasons of Love. Great job. Okay, don't worry. There's another round. Everyone get ready. Song 2. Listen up. Who's gonna get it? Staying Alive! Staying Alive, I see it. Oh, so many. Who was that? Esmeralda! Yes, you got it! Yes.
And they got the spelling right. It's Stan with no G.
Stan. Right. Staying Alive. Way to go. Okay, we have one more song. If you want to win a round, this is your last chance. Everyone get ready. Okay, go. Oh, we got it. Let's see who got it. Your name got small. Jenny. Woo! Jenny got it. Fly to the bumblebee. You got it. Oh my gosh. Congratulations to Monica, Esmeralda, and Jenny. You three are our winners today. Great job. And thanks to everyone for playing. That was just a little bit of fun use stress to get us pumped up and energized, because positive stress is a real energizer and motivator for us. So congrats to our winners. Thanks everyone for playing. So if our work today is to become more aware of our stress, then acknowledging the fun and the positive types of stress is important too. Thanks, everybody.
That's right. Now, the second type of stress we need to be aware of is called distress. So this is typically what we think about when we think of stress. Now, this type of stress gets ignited by something less than fun. So think about like maybe things like feeling a lot of pressure at work, or maybe your car breaks down on the freeway. So let's go ahead and explore some things that, some of the distress that we experience in our own lives. So here's a question for you all. When do you experience distress in your life? Feel free to share it in the chat. At work. All right, at work. Death of a loved one. Thank you for sharing that, Rico. Family problems. Just got a flat on the freeway a few days ago. No, Stephanie, I'm glad you made it through. When I get misgendered. Thank you for sharing that, Maddox. Shelly shared where was it? Family. There we go. Family issues, mental chatter, illness, needing a new place to rent. When people are yelling, yes, I don't like when people yell either. Getting pulled over by a cop when my adult children are struggling. Motherhood, health issues, having too many tasks, loved ones having struggles I can't help with, older parents. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Now that you've shared some of the experiences you've had with distress, how do you typically know that you are stressed? Are there any clues or any signs that you experience when you feel like, or when you know you're pretty stressed out? Someone shared headaches, an anxiety attack in a store, sweaty palms, headaches, sleepless nights, heart palpitations, not hungry, so loss of appetite. Someone also shared a tight jaw, hard to breathe, chest pains. Wow, our body is it will talk to you, won't it? Shaking, late night grinding teeth, backache, heart racing, and can't sleep. Thank you for sharing, everybody. All right, so it is, and someone gets irritable. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Randy. So it's really important that we begin to identify the stressors like headaches that you've all shared in the chat. And it is really important that we know what they are in our lives so that we can be prepared for the situations that trigger our stress response. Awareness of the problem is a first step in regulation.
All right, so now it's time to grab your paper and pen or marker, whatever you have to draw on. And just quickly, I'd like you to all draw a little stick figure, plain and simple. Just a little stick figure on your piece of paper. And whenever you're done, you can just set that to the side. So this stick figure represents you, and we're going to be working with that. But first, we want to explore the ways that our bodies experience stress through storytelling. So you can go ahead and set your stick figure to the side. And now Ruffy is going to tell you all a story from the perspective of a 6th grade teacher named Sam.
Finally, the bell. I thought today would never end. It was exhausting. And I forgot the worksheets I needed for today. You know, the students were really rowdy and I had to raise my voice multiple times. And to top it all off, I spilled coffee on my favorite pair of shoes. Today just took it out of me. And now the workday is done, but I still have a lot to do. I have to go pick up my daughter, and then I'm always late and I hate when I am. And then there's the grocery shopping, and then I have to make dinner, and then I have to clean up after dinner, and then I have to help my daughter with all her homework, and then I have a stack of papers this big, all before I can sleep. So I rush out to my car, but the notifications on my phone just keep pinging. And now suddenly there's a slow up in my lane. I don't have time for this. I'm already late. So I try to go around, but I try to merge onto the next lane, but another car just goes by me and zooms by. And then another car, and then another car. Hello? And all these cars just keep zooming by and cutting me off every time I try to move. It's like my turn signal means nothing to them. Why can't just things be easy for once?
All right. Great job, Ruffy. Now I would like you all to just tune into your bodies really quickly. How are you feeling right now after watching Ruffy tell us that story? Are there any new points of tension or any signs and signals your body is sending you? I know my heart started pounding when I watched that. Stressed, speeded up internally. You wanted to run away. Yeah, okay. Shoulders got tight. Yeah, so let's focus on the body sensations. So where in your body are you feeling the stress that just got activated by that story? Maybe there's a knot in your stomach, tightness in your chest, maybe a headache came in. Great. Okay, I'm seeing lots of them coming into the chat. Brilliant. So now I would like you to grab your lovely little stick figure friend and go ahead and mark anywhere on the stick figure that you just experienced that stress, or perhaps still are experiencing that stress. So you can write notes, you can draw, you can, circle things, draw arrows, however it helps you to visually see where your body became activated when you felt that stress. I'll give you a few moments to mark on your stick figure. I'm going to circle the chest because my heart was pounding. Also felt a tightness in my brow too. That's something I'm noticing now too. I feel a tension here. Great. Okay, so I know a bunch of you are putting where in the chat you experience stress in your body. If you didn't already do that and you want to share, feel free to put it into the chat. Where did that stress in your body come up? I'm going to read some of these. I see a headache, shoulders in my back, neck and shoulders, chest, head, tight jaw, heart racing, pressure in chest, throat, fingers. Interesting. Yes, we've had a few people mention their hands as well, which is not something I would have thought about before for stress, but absolutely. Shoulders, not in your tummy, your jaw, neck and shoulders. Awesome. Thank you so much. Definitely fingers. Okay, an agreement on the fingers. Grabbing the imaginary steering wheel. Okay, yes. I love that. I can feel that. Hair itchy, ears ringing, headache in temples, stress in shoulders, heart racing. Beautiful. Thank you for all of these responses. And I love the specificity we got in some of those as well. Okay. Let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep cleansing collective breath together. Just really big inhale, fill your belly. Now long exhale, sigh it out. Let's shake it out. Shake it out. Let's let that stress go. That wasn't our stress. That was our teacher Sam's stress. So let's just take a moment and maybe stretch a little. Give a little attention, a little love to any of those spots where you felt the stress. Feels your hands. Maybe you need a quick hand massage or a neck rub, or maybe you need to roll your shoulders. Just take a moment, just a moment for yourself, and bring a little love, bring a little attention to any of those places you felt stress in your body. Stretch or massage, or just breathe out those tense places. Awesome. So it's important that we identify the situations in our life that cause us distress and the different signs and signals that our bodies send us to tell us that we're stressed. Because when we know when our bodies are experiencing stress, we then know that it's time for us to regulate. Because distress is totally tolerable in small doses, but when stress is experienced in large doses over a long period of time and without effective regulation, it can become toxic.
That's right. So when we experience a heavy amount of stress consistently, our baseline of how easily we regulate can shift. So this means that your capacity to regulate yourself is damaged. So when we're stressed, hormones are pumped into our bodies, which stops when our nervous systems regulate. So if we aren't calming down, these hormones can wreak havoc in our bodies. It could affect our memory and brain function. It could weaken our immune system. It could also cause weight gain and heart problems like high blood pressure and heart disease, stroke, and even cancer. Toxic stress can significantly affect your health and well-being. This is why regulation is so important. But before we dive into regulation, let's look at the 3 B's.
Thank you. Whoa. I was not sure what we were going to be getting, and I was like, I went through an entire journey right there. So thank you for that. And it's so true, right? We have to be able to regulate ourselves. And I think that sometimes that's easier said than done, right? And a lot of that comes because we're juggling so many things, right? Can you let me know in the chat box, what are some things that you are currently juggling? For me, I feel like I'm juggling expectations of holidays. I'm juggling dinner. I'm juggling the things that I need to kind of do to wrap up the end of my year. So we've got work coming in the chat box, health, home, holidays, work, and family. Totally. And, you know, a lot of the times when stress is happening, I like to play a little game of, I'll take care of that later, right? I'll start maybe feeling something and I'm like, I don't have time for that. So I'm going to put that to the side. Or maybe I'll start avoiding something and that will be my regulation practice, right? And the reality is that we're actually not very good at compartmentalizing. Once we say we're going to do something later, the thing is stress will inevitably come back in. And what we say is one behavior is actually linked to our feelings and our thoughts, right? So this is all one machine that's working together. And really stress, and I'm really appreciative that you all have normalized the fact that stress happens, right? Stress has to happen. And positive stress happens, all different types of stress happen. And that's our body's way, and that's our mind's way of saying, hi, I'm here. Remember me, right? You're feeling things, you're thinking things, and we got to come back online. And we have to be able to give ourselves that moment to come back online, right? Because we got to be able to put down all the things you're juggling, everything that's in that chat box, and kind of say, okay, what's going on with me? And in the moment, that can feel really overwhelming, right? And so the tool that we're going to go through today are called the 3 B's. So this is really being able to check in with yourself throughout your day, right? So this I actually do before meetings. Sometimes I go from meeting to meeting to meeting and I feel really stressed, but I also really want to be present in a meeting, right? And so I'll check in with myself and be like, let's take note. Maybe I need to do a little shake. Maybe I need to go to get a glass of water, right? So that I can kind of move through my stress and not avoid it. So this tool you can use with yourself, you can use with your colleagues, you can use with your family. This is actually one of my favorite like dinner time conversations of how does stress show up for you? And like, what do you do about your stress, right? And this tool you can actually use with your students as well to map out stress. So basically it's broken down into 3 B's. The first one is beliefs. The second one is body. And the third one is behavior, right? And the reality is that stress shows up differently for different people, right? But on an individual level, it's pretty consistent, right? So if you're someone in your beliefs, you might start thinking, what stories am I telling myself, right? What am I thinking about a situation? If it's in your body, maybe you get headaches, right? We saw that in the chat box. Maybe you start having a stomach ache. Behavior, this is definitely me. What am I avoiding? What am I not doing? Who am I avoiding, right? Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not available right now. I just got to avoid you right now. And so to be able to name it without judgment actually allows you to just be able to be present about yourself and then think about what you can do to regulate yourself. So first and foremost, let's take a moment to think about, on a pretty regular basis, how does stress show up for you? Are you someone in your beliefs? Are you someone in your body? Or are you someone in your behavior? And you can let me know in the chat box. Ruffy, what are you? Are you in your beliefs, in your body, or your behavior?
I am in my head, so I guess my beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah. And then it goes to my behavior right after. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Like the thing is, they're not separate. It usually can start somewhere, and then it will just like trickle around until you do something about it. Right. Thank you so much. So we have all three: beliefs, behavior, and it's so powerful to just be able to name it, and then also like share that with people in your life and say, hey, when you see it in my behavior, it's because I'm stressed and I got to do something about it. So I encourage you to check out the tool more, and we're going to be finding more about regulation practices and what you can do when stress shows up for you.
Great. Thanks, Yasmin. That is so helpful. I love the 3Bs. So we're going to go ahead and move on to regulation. So what is regulation? So regulation is the ability to manage your emotions and behavior in accordance with the demands of the situation. So it includes being able to resist highly emotional reactions to upsetting stimuli, to calm yourself down when you get upset. So in a nutshell, regulation is the process we go through to soothe our nervous systems after we've become activated. And we're not born knowing how to regulate. We're all taught to regulate through something called co-regulation. Now, co-regulation is an interpersonal process in which one nervous system regulates another nervous system. So when we were growing up, we learned how to regulate by watching the adults in our lives. Now, if they used a breath to calm themselves down, we learned to use a breath to calm down. So this means that some of us learned a lot of great regulation skills, and some of us might not. But it's never too late to learn to regulate, and it comes in many forms. So regulation can be activities like breathing, like we've all mentioned. It could also be venting to a loved one or to a peer. It could be listening to music, could be working out. We're going to go ahead and share a variety of techniques with you today, but first, we'd love to hear from you. What do you all do to regulate yourself? So Yasmin, what do you do to regulate yourself? Do you have any cool techniques that you have?
Yeah, so I have go-to songs, and like
Oh.
I have a playlist of regulation, and I'm like, I know what's going to put me in a good mood. And actually the Bee Gees are on my regulation playlist. So
oh, nice.
you all did it for me.
I was just gonna ask you, what's a song on that top 3 right now that's on that playlist?
Oh my gosh, How Deep Is Your Love? I just like get into I'm like,
that's a good one.
Around, so.
Oh wow, we got a few here in the chat. Thanks for sharing, Yasmin. We events, listening to music, exercise. Looks like music is it's a favorite amongst all of you all. Playing the drums, yeah, playing instruments is really helpful. Painting, yep, using art, drawing, wine, yeah. Talk to my friend on the phone, run and cycle, talk to my boyfriend, water plants, weeding, taking a bath. Yeah, water is such a great healer. Someone here mentioned meditate and 3-4-5 breathing. Ooh, I like that. Painting my nails, yes. Day's trip to the mountains and nature. Thank you for sharing, everybody. And I'm not going to forget Jane, who wrote playing tennis, and Nydia shared hiking. Thank you so much. All right, you guys put some baking. You know, I have a few friends that like to bake too. They find it very therapeutic. And Triseli or Trishelle, I hope I said that correctly. Affirmations and breathing at work. And at home, line dancing and intro boxing. Yes. I remember when I first went line dancing, it's to Shania Twain. All right, so now we want to share a few regulation tools with you all to add to your tool belt. Now we're all so different, and some of this might work for some of you and some of it might not, and that's okay. So I'm going to pass it off to Taja.
All right, so let's begin with a physical form of regulation because stress is a physical response. So there are a lot of things we can do for our bodies to help us regulate. And physical movements like walking or dancing is very good for your nervous system. But this technique I'm going to show you utilizes touch and it stimulates the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve just lets our nervous systems know that it's time to relax. This regulation tool is called havening, as in making a safe haven for yourself in your own body. So if you're wearing glasses today, go ahead and take your glasses off because we will be touching our faces. So first, just use your fingertips to gently apply pressure above your brow and below your eye. So you can increase or decrease the pressure however you like. Sometimes I like a really soft touch just on my skin, or sometimes like today I want a deeper touch that feels more like a massage. Just touching yourself around this occipital bone above the brow, below the eyes. I'm blind. I'm so sorry. I've blinded you all. Just follow the sound of my voice. Touch your brows. All right, now we've done that for a few rounds. Let's go ahead and move down to our arms. Let me scoot back so you can see me a bit better. So just starting up on your shoulders, just begin to rub your arms up and down, from your shoulders to your wrist. You can, again, increase or decrease pressure. You can squeeze, give some squeezes down your arms too. Give yourself a hug if you want. I do like a squeeze, helps me feel safe. But just running your hands up and down your arms and remembering to breathe. So if you haven't already, deepening in your breath and feeling like you're comforting yourself with these petting on your arms. And finally, third step, to your hands. So just rub your hands together, palm to palm, front and back, just like you're washing your hands. Let's try those 3 steps all together again. So we're going back up to our faces. Excuse my dog, she needs to regulate. Above the brow and below the eyes. Deep breath. Finally, down to your arms again, up and down, and ending at your hands. Okay, so that's havening. It's just those 3 simple steps. You can do that over and over and over again until you find that your nervous system is calming down. And this activity does utilize cross-body stimulation. So one half of your body touching the other half of your body. That is really calming for your nervous system. So we can work with that, because if these exact havening movements don't really speak to you, you can simply achieve the same thing by wiping down each arm or by patting. You can just pat your body anywhere on your body. That is also a regulation technique. Okay, so that is just one form of physical regulation. And now that we've explored it a little, I'm curious to know what you all do. So do any of you have any physical regulation activities that you'd like to share? So this could be a form of touch, a touching technique like we just did with havening. It could be a movement technique. What other specifically physical forms of regulation do you all do? Dancing, running, yoga, regular massage. I love massages. Walking, singing. Singing is also very good for that vagus nerve, singing and humming. Mosh pit. Okay, we have a different style of regulation happening. I love it, whatever works for you. 30-second dance party. Walking. Walking is very regulating. Pedicures, massages, facials, head massage. Playing VR, lots of movement, and Beat Saber. Cool. I tried VR for the first time the other day. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. All right. Thanks, everybody, for these responses. Back to you, Raf.
All right. Yeah, thanks, everybody. All right. So now we'd like to share a regulation tool that utilizes our breath. So there are many breathing techniques out there. And one of you mentioned 3-4-5 breathing. There's a lot of breathing techniques because breath is one of our most important tools in calming our nervous system. Now, a deep breath will bring more oxygen into our systems and signal to our bodies that it is time to relax. And it is really a superpower we should be aware of, because breath is always available to us. And it's something that we could do anytime and anywhere. So we want to share one example of breathing for regulation. This breathing technique is called square breathing. Now, square breathing is an exercise that first responders and medical professionals use to help stabilize people who've experienced trauma. So in this exercise, we're going to inhale through our nose with a count of 4. Then we're going to hold our breath for a count of 4. And then we're going to exhale through our mouth with a count of 4, and then we're going to hold our breath again for a count of 4. Now, for our kinesthetic learners, you can trace a square in front of you with your finger. Now, for our auditory learners, feel free to listen. You can also close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. I actually enjoy closing my eyes when I do this. And for your visual learners, you could also watch me as well. But if you want to try closing your eyes, feel free to. So go ahead and get comfortable in your chair wherever you're at. If your legs or your feet are crossed, feel free to uncross them. Let's go ahead and make everything an equal playing field here. Go ahead and relax your back and lean on that chair if there is back support. All right, we're gonna go ahead and exhale all our air out. And we're gonna inhale 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. And hold 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and let your breathing go back to normal. If you had your eyes closed, feel free to slowly open your eyes. Go ahead and give yourself a little bit of a shoulder roll. You could go back, you can go front, and then you could kind of shake it out gently. Go ahead and let your breathing go back to normal. All right, so that was square breathing, everybody. And this is just one of many breathing techniques out there. Another version of this breathing technique is 5-7-8 breathing, where you would inhale for the count of 5, then you would hold your breath for a count of 7, and then you would exhale for a count of 8. And just to let you know, whenever your exhale is longer than your inhale, it's calming to your nervous system. Thank you, Rico, for that. Appreciate that. And let's see, I think Tanya shared, sitting on a chair and bending over and my arms hanging down like an elephant. Oh yeah, I've seen a student do that before. Thank you for sharing that, Tanya. You reminded me back to that time. All right, so we're curious what other breathing techniques that you all do. Does anybody have any? I know someone mentioned 3, 4, 5 sharing, and correct me if I'm wrong. I guess that would be inhale for 3, hold for 4, then exhale for 5. I'm going to try that on my own later this afternoon. Pinwheel breathing. Oh, thank you, Jane. I'm curious, Jane, if you'd like, is there any way to share with us what pinwheel breathing is? If not, don't even worry about it. Jessica shares meditation. Absolutely. Oh, Kay Schwartz would like to share, like to also see pinwheel breathing. Tasha, is that is this an option to actually get someone up? No,
I don't think so.
No. Huh? No worries. We're gonna follow up with you, Jane, and figure out what pinwheel breathing is. I'm curious too. Okay, finger hold, even count breathing, like 4, 4, 4. Yes, Jennifer shares taking a full breath. Absolutely. Okay, so Jane explains that she uses an actual pinwheel and holds it about 6 inches from her face. Deep breathes and exhale to make it spin. Oh, that's great. And you have an actual pinwheel. That's great. Oh, here we go. Alternate nostril breathing. Absolutely. And Jane says that she uses it with her students for IEP counseling. Thank you for sharing that, Jane. All right, Taja.
Awesome. Okay. So the next regulation tool I'd like to share with you all utilizes a process called reframing. So reframing means that you shift the way you're thinking about or looking at something. So sometimes we get stuck in thinking about something in a certain way that causes us distress. Like maybe something's happened and you just go over it in your mind over and over again. But if we're able to step back a little bit and reframe that situation for ourselves, it could bring about more clarity, calm, and well-breathing. And well-being. I was seeing breathing in the chat, funny. So here's a list of self-reflective questions that might help you reframe a situation that's stressing you out. So go ahead and read through this list. I'll give you a moment to read through these questions we have here. And then I'm curious to know, do any of these questions stand out to you? If you had to sort of pick one out of the pile as one you may use or just one that stands out to you, which question would that be? What am I afraid of? Do I have control over this issue? What am I reacting to? We've got some similarities with those three. Okay, those seem to be popular. Do I have control? Yeah, okay, that is a crowd favorite. Do I have control over this situation? What am I reacting to? And what am I afraid of? How is my breathing right now? Awesome, yeah, you like the body check-in question. Beautiful. All right, I got another one for what am I reacting to? Can I do anything to resolve this issue at this moment? Jenny, that is my favorite question as well, or at least today. That is something that I ask myself often because I'm a bit of a worrier. And often I can't do anything about the moment, so I'm just hurting myself with the worries. What specifically am I afraid of? Awesome, thank you all for these responses. So now I'm curious to know, do you have any other ways that you reframe a situation for yourself? I do already see one in the chat. What story am I telling myself? That's a great question. So I'm curious to know, what are the other ways that you reframe? So do you have a question you ask yourself, like that one that Janae just shared? What story am I telling myself? Or is there perhaps somebody who you talk to who helps you reframe a situation? What do you do? Yasmin, do you have any ways that you reframe for yourself?
I knew you were going to call me, and I'm like, what do I do? I think sizing helps me. I think about, like, is this going to matter in 5 minutes? Is this going to matter in 5 days, right? And so I can kind of put the size of it, and then I'll like let myself give it that time, right? So if it's going to be a small one, it's like, okay, I'm going to let myself go 3 more minutes about this, and then I will move forward. So just like having that conversation with myself sometimes helps me realize, okay, it's not that deep.
Right. Thank you so much. I love that. We have a question that bops around on our team a bit. That's, will this matter in 6 months? That's our question that we use. Will it matter in 6 months? Okay, we've got so many in here. Let me read some of these. As of today, is this a December issue or a January issue? Interesting. A different way of doing that sizing work. I try to deal with it another day when I feel ready to. I try to tell the story from another person's perspective. Powerful. My husband gives me perspective and reframing. What am I getting out this persisting? Like, what am I getting out of this persisting? How old do I feel right now? Randy, woo, that is a big one. Yes, am I in my 3-year-olds? Totally. It's great. Oh, yes. Can I think this matters situation in a positive way? These are all so wonderful. There's so many like nuggets in here. Where am I in my brain? North or south? Ooh, I like that way of thinking about it as well. Oh, so good. Thank you. We are absolutely going to be stealing some of these. Thank you all so much for all of these responses. They're great. So sometimes all we really need to do is just think through something from a bird's eye view, because stress tends to take over our minds as well and get us caught in stress loops. And if we're thinking stressful thoughts, we're experiencing stress in the body that then turn into stressful behaviors. What's up, 3Bs? Love that. And so asking yourself these self-reflective questions can help you arrive in a place of more calm and empowerment as well.
All right, so now I'd like to lead us through an artistic self-regulation tool. Now, the arts have an innate way of regulating us because they work different parts of our brain and it really lights us up. So this can bring a sense of calm to parts of our brain while also simultaneously activating other parts of our brain. And it connects the left and the right hemispheres, which when engaged over time can positively build our resilience, contributing to our well-being and making us more healthy. So go ahead and grab something to draw on and with. So I have a piece of paper and a pen, pencil, color pencil, marker, crayon, whatever you got. In a moment, I'm going to have you scribble all over your page and really let yourself get all that stress out onto that paper. Okay, are y'all ready? Got that paper on in front of you and that pen or pencil in front of you? Okay, we're going to scribble for 10 seconds and make sure you cover that paper in scribbles. Okay, here we go. On your mark, get set, go. Go ahead and scribble. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so now that you have this beautiful mess in front of you, go ahead and turn that scribble into art. Now we're going to go ahead and turn on a little music, and I'd like you to begin to start coloring in your scribble image however you like. We made all these little spaces with the scribble. So go ahead and fill those in. If you have colors accessible to you, go right ahead. I just took my background off, so I'll show you a little bit of something I've done in the past. And then something I did today, because I had a meeting and I had some times and I kind of filled them all in. Can look any way you want. This one's a little bit more messy. This one was I had a lot of time on my hands. So go ahead and feel free to color in your scribbles. There's probably some really great mosaic shapes out there, right? Go ahead and take a little time for some soothing coloring or filling in. And just to let you know, there's no wrong way to do this exercise. All right, go ahead and wrap that up for yourself. I'll give you a few seconds. And don't worry, you can totally come back to it anytime. Just like breath, art is accessible to you anytime you want it. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed yourself. The arts are incredibly powerful and often overlooked when it comes to regulation. Engaging in anything artistic or creative is really good for you, and it doesn't have to be scribbling. It could be playing the drums like someone had mentioned earlier. It could also be finger painting. It could be singing. It could be dancing, origami, anything you like. So as teaching artists ourselves, we feel strongly that the creative arts should have a space in your life, even if it's just as simple as scribbling.
Okay, for our final regulation tool today, I want to discuss some emotional regulation. Psychologist David Rock states, when you experience significant internal tension and anxiety, you can reduce stress up to 50% by simply noticing and naming your state. And Dr. Dan Siegel coined the phrase, name it to tame it. Same concept. So now let's take a moment and name what we feel. So what you see here on your screen is an emotional wheel to help you find the specific emotion that you're feeling. So I'd like you to just take a moment, look at this wheel, and choose which emotion you're feeling right now. Maybe there's more than one, or at least what emotion is the closest approximate to how you're feeling. And if you're having a difficult time tapping into your emotions, I would recommend just placing a hand on your heart and taking a deep breath there and just feeling into how your heart feels and asking what emotion is there. Okay, so hopefully you all picked which emotion you're feeling. Now you can click the link in the chat or scan the QR code on the screen. They'll take you to the same place and it'll take you to a word cloud where you can type in one or a couple of words, a couple of emotions that you're feeling right now. And we're going to make a beautiful word cloud together. So once you've input your word, go ahead and come back to our Zoom screen and we'll watch it happen. How are you feeling right now? I already see a couple in the chat. I see optimistic. I see hurt, disappointed, and sad. Sending you love, Trezell. I hope that emotion moves quickly. Optimistic is big. Peaceful is big. Anxious is big. Happy, calm, free, relaxed, thoughtful, content, bored, joyful, caring, sad, hopeful, tranquil, good, full, scared. Wow, there is a lot in here. Relaxed, peaceful, ease. We have a beautiful variety of emotions happening within this word cloud. Gorgeous, goofy, lonely, grateful, content. Awesome. Thank you all so much for creating this word cloud together. How beautiful, this whole amalgamation of emotions. Wonderful. Thank you all so much. So staying mindful of our emotional state is a powerful form of regulation. And sometimes when we feel big emotions, we go into our fight or flight state because we don't feel safe. So this regulation tool is a regulation tool you can use in those situations. And it's called the 5-step self-holding exercise. So this technique was created to help people suffering from PTSD feel more safe in their body so that they can move through their emotions. It has 5 simple steps, so just follow me. And with each movement, you're going to take one full deep breath. So first step is just place both your hands on your head. And remember, this is called the self-holding exercise, so really feel like you're holding yourself. Suzanne, I see you, and yes, I'm sure Joseph could help you out with that. Okay, so first, both hands on your head. Take a deep breath. Now take one of your hands and move it to the back of your neck and take a full deep breath. Now move your hand from your head, place it on your heart. Another breath. Now take your hand from the back of your neck, move it to your stomach, full breath. And finally take the hand from your heart and move it to the back of the neck. One more full breath. Okay, so now I'd like you to sit here and continue to just hold yourself and breathe while I read a few affirmations to you. If you would like to repeat them to yourself, you can totally do that. If you'd like to just listen, just listen. I am safe. I am held. I am loved. I am capable. I am peaceful. I am in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. I am enough. I am enough. Okay, you can go ahead and let that go. You can release your hands. If your eyes were closed, you can flutter them open. And that is the 5-step self-holding exercise. When we allow ourselves to really sit in presence with ourselves, It allows the emotions that need to move. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Well, everyone, we've reached the end of our workshop. So here's a little review of what we did. So we explored the different types of stress and how that stress shows up for each of us. We also looked at what we do to regulate our stress. And then we shared some regulation techniques, which were havening, square breathing, reframing, scribble art, the emotional wheel, and Taja just led us on the 5-step self-holding exercise. We shared a variety of tools with you all today because we're all different, and it's possible not all of these tools will work for everyone. But thankfully, regulation is immense. There's a lot of it. It's wide.
Absolutely. So we really hope that you're going to leave this workshop today feeling just a little bit more empowered when it comes to your stress. And we encourage you to approach the ways that you regulate with a sense of play. This takes the pressure off and allows you the freedom to explore many different avenues for taking care of yourself, because this is ongoing, lifelong work, and we hope that you all feel inspired to continue to explore your own relationship to stress and regulation.
All right. Well, thank you so much for spending your Thursday afternoon with us, everybody. Again, we're from Kaiser Permanente Educational Theater, and we provide programming for free to schools and communities. We're going to go ahead and share some information. I know some of you have asked if you'd like to book us for your school. We're here for you all. And thanks for all the love. We appreciate it. And thanks for everything, Yasmin. And
yes. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll pass it back to Yasmin.
Thank you so much. And thank you for all of those wonderful techniques and practices. And thank you so much for all of you for being here. We would love for you to take a moment to fill out a feedback survey that you can find in the chat or on this QR code. We do look at all the feedback that you provide us, and it really helps us, figure out what content is going to give you what you need. And so please do spend about 2 minutes, and it's completely anonymous. There are no identifiers. And so you can please be as open and honest as you would like to. And as you continue your journey on creating healthier schools and healthier learning environments, we are here to support you. There's an entire Healthier Generation staff here to support you to implement practices within your school environment. So you can reach out to us to help you through that continuous improvement process. And that QR code will still get you to the feedback survey. And on our Action Center, on the Healthier Generation Action Center, you can find all of the many resources and the 3 Bs that we talked about today, as well as our Thriving Schools Integrated Assessment that has questions to talk about the different practices and elements that you want to make changes in your schools or in your district, and each question has an associated resource attached to it, so it really takes the guesswork out of it for you. So we really appreciate that you spend your time with us. We know your time is valuable, and we hope that this tool will support you in your new year, perhaps during your holidays, right? Check in with your Bs and make sure that you're sharing that with your families. And I just want to say, be on the lookout for our next webinar. We're going to be back in 2023. That is, I can't believe it's 2023 already. And we're going to be moving into teams, and we're going to be talking about positive team culture. And we're going to continue on with our strategies and making sure that you have tools and resources available to you. And so I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you do. We know that this has been a very full school year, and you matter so much, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. And thank you so much for everything you do for our entire education system and for our young ones and the things that you do for each other. And we hope that you have a wonderful new year, and we are excited to see you again in 2023.
Thank you, Yasmin. I just wanted to take a moment to answer your questions. It doesn't look like anything was submitted through the Q&A feature, but I do see a lot of people interested in copies of the recordings. As I said in the beginning, the recordings are available on the CDE Facebook page. We are also integrating 508 compliance standards into the recordings and posting them on the CDE website as well. And as Sean has shared previously, he will be following up with anyone who attended today with links to those. So please do check back on those sites, and please also take a moment to do the survey if you could. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or put them in the Q&A. In the meantime, I would like to thank you all very, very much for taking time out of your day to join us. I would like to extend our shared appreciation to the Educational Theater team and Alliance for a Healthier Generation for leading us through this webinar this afternoon. We hope you have gained value from the content we have shared, and we're wishing everyone a relaxing time to recharge with friends and family this holiday season.